previously told me, it's good to have you on this program, Future Ambassadors. Today, we want to look at tolerance in respect to what is happening in our society. Tolerance recognizes the universal human right, fundamental freedom, and dignity of others. People are naturally diverse. Only tolerance can ensure the survival of mixed communities in every region of the globe. So today we are looking at tolerance, and I'm having two lovely guests in the studio. They'll be telling us more about tolerance. I'm having Professor Bola Shenjobi from Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. You're welcome to this program, sir.
Good afternoon.
And I'm also having Dr. Abiodun Ogunwola from the Department of Psychology, OOU. You're welcome to this program.
Thank you very much for having me.
So we're looking at tolerance in respect to what is happening in our society. I think we need to tolerate each other. So what actually is tolerance from the psychological aspect?
Thank you very much. So that we don't go into some kind of textbook definition, let me say that tolerance is our individual capacity to be able to accept each other's differences, each other's opinions and views of life without being judgmental or sentimental in our approach, so that we can have mutual understanding of what we feel as well as what others feel. It means that if you have a different opinion to mine, it doesn't mean I will castigate you for having those opinions, but rather that your opinion is valid, my opinion is valid. How can we take several opinions together to forge a prosperous society?
Let me hear from you, sir. What is tolerance?
Thank you, the presenter. Tolerance is the willingness or ability of someone to believe in an existence of opinion,
okay,
or beliefs that you disagree with or you dislike.
That I disagree with.
Yes.
So how can I take something that I disagree with to try to cope with it? Something that is not pleasant to me. Somebody is doing something that I don't really like, and you want me to accept that?
In a diverse environment, just like we have in Nigeria, we must know that our strength lies in our diversity, and as such, the tendency of each individual to be able to accept others the way they are without actually having any issues with them is what the tolerance and the strength we are talking about is revolving around. So we need to respect individual opinions, and so if you have that, and that is helping us to tailor towards maturity.
Okay.
You're a mature fellow if you can accommodate one another.
Okay. And I think even in the aspect of management, I think people that goes for management course, they talk about tolerance, how to relate with others. So how can we relate to others in our working environment that will have peace with each other? Because people have different opinions, like what you just said. So how can we tolerate others in our working environment?
Well, we can make use of so many tips. For instance, master to subordinate category. You can, as a master or a subordinate, you should be able to understand your own feelings. That a stage like this, nobody can influence you. What I believe in is what I believe in, irrespective of your own opinion or view about my own thinking or psychology. That's my belief. So once I have that mentality in me, that nobody can influence me, then I should be able to tolerate one another. Then again, as a subordinate or a master, you should be able to understand individual you are dealing with. You must know them closely. So when you know them closely, you will know what A loves, what B loves, and as such you will relate with them according to their strengths and weaknesses. Then again, you should be able to also ensure that people do not perceive things in the same way. Our views are different, our opinions are also diverse, likewise our own belief. So once you have that, then the last thing you need to do is to have regard for individual you are dealing with, have dignity for them, and once you have the respect for individual, you respect people's opinion, there won't be any issue in any organization you find yourself.
When you respect me, I respect you.
Yes.
I think there will be cordial relationship. So we have a lot of youth outside there that don't really respect each other. They just feel their opinion needs to stand, even in the social media and all that. What can you actually tell the youth about the risk of not respecting other people's or tolerating other people?
I would say that we now live in a generation of people claiming to have voices when they don't have none. Many of us or many of the people in this generation have turned to journalists, but by the virtue of the fact that they are keyboard warriors, a news breaks now, and the next thing is that you see that they are sharing it, they are commenting on it, and if you have a different opinion to what they are already stereotyped about, they begin to castigate you and call you all sort of names. There are several instances where you have people who just post an innocuous picture or paragraph. By the time you look at the comments that come from it, you see that they will, rather than tolerate, they will even bring down that individual. They use the language trolling, that they say they are doing trolling. Now, what that tells us is that because of the fact that all of us carry gadgets here and there, it gives them and nobody is to be traced to, this is his hard address, this is his hard address. Nobody will be able to say, go and arrest him, he has spoken against me. Everybody turns to a journalist, so to speak. And what that does to us is that we are becoming by the day intolerant of other people's opinions. We want our own voices to be heard, and I know that in this generation as well, we have people that will post pictures and be looking at the number of likes that are on it, the number of comments that it generates, and they begin to look at it vis-a-vis what their friends get when they post their own pictures. It turns everything into some form of jamboree, so to speak, and we see that rather than for them to relate with you, if they are not tolerating with you, that's the challenge here. They will rather pack you up. They will not want to have anything to do with you again. And the idea should be mutual respect. Youth to youth will respect each other. Youth to adults will respect each other. We find it difficult these days that people that are in your neighborhood that are youths, they will find it hard to greet you. If they are greeting you, they are standing up straight with you and all that. So they feel that they know, but in reality they don't know as much as they should know. And what should have been helpful is if they seek counsel, but because of the fact that there are a lot of advice and people that, for instance, even on the internet, there are people who are bad at marriages who will be counseling other married people about marriage. So they look at those ones as role model and feel that they packed out of their husband's house, they don't have a wife at home. Who are you to now tell me to go in this direction? So intolerant views become more and more when people don't respect other people's boundaries.
Okay, so I want to look at our society generally. We are all religious people and all that, and I think we have different religion and all that, and which we need to respect according to what you just said. So, sir, how do we, in our religious belief and all that, how can we respect each other's religion so that we can tolerate each other, because we have different views and different beliefs?
Thank you, Mr. It is true we have different beliefs, different values in our religion setting, and I think the onus is on our leaders, at least to train people in such a way that they will respect other people's opinion. Religion is not only about violence. It's about showing us direction to God Almighty. And I think all religions emphasize the fact that we should love one another, we should respect one another, and we should deal accordingly with one another. And if all our leaders can do that, and if all people also can also stick to their beliefs, there won't be need for intolerance in the society. You respect my opinion, I respect yours. I won't go beyond my boundary. And even if I go beyond boundary with the view of tolerance, I should be able to also do what? Accommodate that. Ignore. I can ignore rather than enter into dialogue that will lead to the negative things. I can also ignore. I can stay off. I can pretend as if I'm not moved by what you say.
Just said, okay.
Since my opinion is already formed within me, you have no right to change it, except if without my own permission anyway. So if I did not consent to your own view, that shouldn't be a problem, and that shows a display of maturity. Even if you disparage me, I won't bother that you have been belittled. So if each religion can emphasize on that, teaching people to live mutually with people without any problem, I think the society will be a sane society.
Okay, so from your own opinion, what can you say about that? Can you say about respecting other people?
I think that every religion has the tenets of respecting human dignity, respecting human life, having values for people, and love. It's just unfortunate the way we interpret some of these things sometimes. There's no religion that will say you should go violent because they oppose your opinion, or you should become extraordinarily aggressive against another individual. What religion does is to help us to have a focus in terms of our spirituality, in terms of who we communicate to. And if your opinion if your own approach is different from mine, I should not now start to castigate you for whatever it is you have done. or that whatever practices you are holding. If you insult me, if you do anything, I should just walk away from it, or I should give in to your own ideas. You not wanting to subject your own religion to mine, me not wanting to subject my own to yours, is what leads to crisis.
Okay, now what are the risks of not tolerating others? What are the risks?
Unfortunately, the first one will be violence, extremism. And the issue here is that nobody knows the consequence of any violent action. You will start, you will not know whether
you don't know the end of a war.
Yes, you will start now, you don't know whether a life will be lost or whether something else will happen, whether if you kill somebody, there will be another gang that will rise up and fight and all that. We can't know all of these things. And we also see that the more we go into this, the more intolerant we become if we don't understand these basic differences. We can't all be the same. Even in a small family of 4, father, mother and 2 children, they cannot always think alike. We have to tolerate each other. If that occurs in just a simple family, how much more an entire society? We just have to tolerate each other for peace to reign. Do your own, let me do my own. Where we have differences, let us accept it and move on with it. Okay. That's what gives us a prosperous society. Okay,
so what's from your own side the risk that we can easily, you just talked about violence, what other risks do we have in intolerance?
Disunity can come in, and where there is disunity there can be peace, there can be love, and a society of such nature cannot progress. And beyond that, destruction of valuable things around too could also emanate from such, where there is violence and in a situation whereby you don't tolerate me, I don't tolerate you, anything can happen. And then things will be in disarray anyway. Just to cap it off, things will be in disarray where there is intolerance.
So now, in our society now, how can intolerance, I guess, might affect development? Is that true?
Yes, it affects development. And that is why we must ensure that we tolerate one another. Know one individual differences, deal with them accordingly without ensuing any problem, any crisis from such.
Okay, what do you have to say about that? Does intolerance affect our development?
It does, and where there is no peace, there is no development. There's no, if you are seeking for local investors or foreign investors, what they will first check is the level of the safety and security of that area. If are they coming to a place where, let's say let me use an example of a pipeline construction now, that some persons will not come and do oil bunkering or vandalism. So they want to look at, are we safe? Are we going to get what we are looking for here? When we look at development, it's not just about the entire society developing. Once each family, each individual continues to develop, it contributes to a general pool of development. Society. And once a society is developed, all those other countries that we are looking at to, it's not as if one person decided to do everything. No, it's by one person doing something right at the right time. And what that means is that I don't have to subject myself to whatever it is your opinions are, but I will accept them and say, you can't be me, I can't be you. Therefore, let me, rather than use it as a point of fighting you or being insensitive to your opinion, let us look at your own idea. Let us look at my own idea. The more the ideas, the more the wisdom, the more the development that will come to a society. So it's very important for everybody, for us to tolerate each other.
So now, how can we create a more tolerable society? How can we create? Because I think listening is there, reflecting on what, like you just said, reflecting on people's idea, and also learning other people's idea. So how can we create a more tolerant society?
It will start from an individual, then it will graduate to the family level. The higher authority also have a role to play. As an individual, I need to be trained, receive the moral, even at home level, that will ensure that I live peaceably with all men as much as lie within me. And at the family level too, the parents also should also do the needful by proper upbringing of their children in the way of the Lord. We must inculcate the fear of God in us. We must also ensure that we also inculcate the love of each other in our setting. So when that one is done, and then the government at the other hand too, if they also make things workable within the environment, if the environment is conducive, there are no people inciting or provoking people, if they address the issues as they are, and they are not being biased in it, then things we work well. And in a situation whereby there are deviations from the ideal, if they can address it on time and then let people see the reasons why such should not do what, should not go beyond that, I think that will curb the excesses of intolerance within the society, and that society will become what,
a peaceful
society, ideal one for people to do what, live in, have their common goals without being disturbed.
Okay, Professor Bola just talked about the children. Now I want to really look at the children, because this program that talks to youth most especially. How can parents really inculcate discipline, tolerance into their children? Because sometimes even the words that parents use shows the children that, oh, we can talk to people anyhow, we cannot associate with people peacefully. So what actually are the roles of parents towards their children in bringing them up in a proper way for them to tolerate others?
Thank you very much. We must just not talk about tolerance. We must act it out. We must not just say, oh, be tolerant of others, be tolerant of others. Tolerance is in doing, not just in speaking. If a parent wants to show tolerance or want to teach tolerance, he must also show by example, and the children will be able to pick it. By the way, let me say that these children these days and the youth, they pick things up very fast, even make many things that you did not say by word of mouth. So our actions of parents are very, very important. Don't just say, oh, don't do this, don't do this. Act it out. Let them see it in your own relations with other people. How are you treating them? Are you treating your co-workers or your subordinates with respect? Are you treating them with tolerance? When they come to your workplace, maybe during meeting or what have you, are they seeing you being tolerant of other people's opinions? The more they see us practice that, the more they'll be able to pick from it. Parents should speak to their children in the manner that they understand. Now, we should not enforce our opinions on them, but to allow them to sift through what we are doing. I don't have to force my opinion on you. Once I do that, I will be killing your own understanding or your own maturity as an individual, but allow you to grow. The more I show tolerance, the more you learn the way to tolerate other people. When we go out, when we are in public functions, I show tolerance by my actions. That way they'll be able to pick it up from there.
You are in an academic environment, both of you. We have a lot of students with different culture, different diversity and all that. So how can we, is there a way the lecturers or the school make them to know that I have to relate with my colleague, I have to relate with my classmate politely, I have to tolerate what is happening in the school environment and all that? Is there a way that the school makes sure that that takes place?
Yes, ma'am. Most schools have put so many things in place at the point of entry. There will be orientation, counseling department, and even when you enter a department, you have a course advisor who will be guiding you. They serve the role of parent. They'll be guiding you, advising you.
As large as the higher institution is.
Yes.
I think everybody is left to their own.
As large as, no matter the number, when you come in, if for instance you have about 100 students in a department, they have so many lecturers in that department, both teaching and the non-teaching one. The head of department is also there. So there is what is called course advisory system in the university. They will attach each student to a particular tutor who will be monitoring, advising, guiding, counseling such. And if it goes beyond them, they refer to the superior. The head of department is there. If it's beyond that one, he may also refer them to the dean, and then or ask them to visit the counseling department. And in fact, even in the courses they are doing in the GNS, I believe there are some other aspects that deals with human relation in their general studies. And then even the psychological aspect also is also there. So there are so many things put in place at the tertiary level to address that.
Okay, let me hear from Dr. Abiodun. What's your take about it? The institution where you have people from different background and different culture together. Do you think the academy, the management of the school, they are really doing enough to make sure that everybody tolerates each other?
Yes. The academics is a very good breeding ground for tolerance. A very good breeding ground, because if you have 100 students in a particular level, it means that there are 100 students from various backgrounds, Hausa will be there, Igbo will be there, Yoruba, Christian, Muslim, all manner will be there, and they have to work together either on group projects, assignments. One will be a course rep, others will be course mates. They always have to accept each other the way they are. They know that they are in the department together, and they have to help each other to succeed all the way to part 4. So if somebody knows something, it's not a place to show that, oh, you are the best, or you want to show that you are a champion. No. How can you help others to grow? Yes. So those things create time for them to bond. You know, if we have tutorial sessions, we have class sessions, even we that are lecturers, when we speak to them, they see in our approach how we coordinate them. For instance, you won't know that a level is 100, for instance, and when there are just 5 students, you will now say, oh, my class is over, and you start going. You try and see, oh, speak to each other. Let's say for the first weeks of semester now, tell each other to come to school. They always have these 2 or 3 people, 4 or 5 people that they always go together with. So you notice that they will bond with each other. I can be from Malaysia, you can be from Akure, but you will see that when they come to the university, they are all the same. The university gives the opportunity for lecturers to relate with them as parents. You know, we speak with them, we guide them, and they don't just come to us on academic matters alone. If they are having challenges in their other areas, we will be able to counsel them accordingly. And the more we do that, now I as a lecturer now have to be tolerant of every student that come to me. I cannot now begin to select and say, oh, I want this one to come, I don't want this one to come. I'm already by my actions showing tolerance to everybody, because because I'm showing to them that I am not favoring you over this one. And what that means is that I'm giving you also a platform. Let's say if we have a group assignment now, somebody will be a group leader, others will be group members. It's showing them leadership, showing them maturity, showing them that you always have to tolerate other people's opinion. Somebody will be able to write notes in class very fast. Somebody will not be able to do that. He will collect notes from others and go and copy. They have group study, they have tutorials. It allows for tolerance of other people's views, and the university allows for that a lot. It allows them to also participate in student associations, both at the SVD level and at the faculty and departmental level. These are ways where you are not the master of your own thought alone. Other people are contributing towards a good academic system.
Okay, it seems we're running out of time. So what do you have to tell the youth, not just the youth, everyone in the society, how to tolerate each other?
My appeal to them is that first and foremost, we should love one another. If you love your neighbor as yourself, then we are talking about tolerance. I won't hurt you, you will not hurt me. Even if crisis also occur, I should be able to do what? Accept you the way you are.
Thank you very much, sir. From your side, what do you have to tell the people outside there?
I will add to what my prof has said, that we need to have mutual respect. And the respect is not just across levels. Respect from subordinates to superiors, respect also from superiors to subordinates, respect among contemporaries. When you have mutual respect, I respect your own opinions, I respect your views of life, I respect your religion, I respect your differences, and you also do the same for me. Let me say that the respect that we're talking about here is not about age. You can respect a baby, you can respect a teenager. It's about how you comport yourself. And insofar as I'm not looking at disregarding you, every one of us have dignity, and I think that's where the problem is sometimes. I don't want him to trample on my dignity. If we can all understand that, as we are here on this panel now, I'm different from my prof. My prof is here, I'm a doctor. I should be able to say I respect him for his life achievements. He will also say, oh, you are also coming up, you are doing well. And that means I can continue to look at him as a mentor, and other people who are much younger than me can also continue to look at me. It gives us the benefit of the fact that we are progressing. And I think that any society that is not thinking about progress is not helping each other. We can be here because we are tolerating each other. We can progress if we tolerate each other. I will always say it, there are no two individuals when they speak about a particular matter that will completely agree on that thing. Even if they do, one will still be thinking, maybe we shouldn't have done it this way. That means that as fathers and mothers, we can tolerate each other. For instance, a father and mother can be having argument about which school to send their children to. one will now say, okay, I agree to that one. They have tolerated. We can do that in the community too. We want this thing to be done here. Let's address other people's opinions. I think there is strength in our diversity. The fact that we have different culture, different orientations should be our strength. That is, the more we have more ideas, the more knowledge, the more prosperity that we can give. Once you look at it this way, we say, oh, we like your idea, we go with it. Not that we want to pull him down. If we pull him down, we will not be progressing.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. You've really spoken well, and thank you, Via Saturn, for being there. You've heard it all. Let's try and tolerate each other so that we can have a peaceful environment that will be conducive for everyone. Until we come your way again on the same program next week. Bye bye.